Hey guys, Billy here from Kizomba Harmony, and I want to talk to you guys about something. And I'm going to use metaphors since I'm fond of doing that, and since I'm fond of food, obviously, I'm working on it though. But since I'm fond of food, I'm going to use a food metaphor, more or less. So here we go. You guys know what this is? Of course you do. It's a spoon. We use it to consume liquid or semi-solid sustenance like soup, stews, ice cream, things like that. Spoon. We know what it is. We've all grown up eating with it. It's a part of our culture, you could say. So if someone came along and said, "This is a spoon," how would you respond? You'd probably say, "Get out of here, man. This isn't a freaking spoon. There's a hole in it. You can't eat soup with it. It's useless as a spoon. You can only eat certain stuff with it." If the price of a spoon was $1, you'd give $1 for a spoon. But would you give $1 for this? No. The vast majority of people would not, because they know what a spoon is. And this is not a spoon. You could say it's a mutation of a spoon because there's something missing. But imagine you didn't come from a culture that grew up eating with spoons. How could you tell the difference? They both look approximately similar. You have no frame of reference because you're not from a culture that eats with these things. So, if someone came along selling this for $1 and saying it's a spoon, many people out there would buy it because they don't know any better, because they have no frame of reference. And then many of them would be frustrated later, realizing they can't eat everything that you can eat with a spoon. Like soup, obviously, the broth would fall through the hole. But lots of people would spend money on this, thinking that it's a spoon. This is what's happening in our community, the dance community. In Kizomba, it's happening in other dances as well. We have a lot of people selling this. People believe that it's this. And it's not $1 that's at stake, it's hundreds of dollars. Imagine these things cost $100 a pop. Some people are selling this. Some people are selling this. To me, this is wrong. It's not illegal to sell this and tell people it's a spoon. But is it right? I don't think so. But you have to make your own decision. And when people are selling this, you have people who are speaking up about it and saying, this is wrong. This is not what you are claiming it to be. And then other people come up and say, oh, it's wrong to criticize. You shouldn't be negative. It's a free market, so on and so forth. That's true, it is a free market. But if people don't have the frame of reference to understand that this is what they should be spending their money on, how many people are going to buy this before they learn? And how many people at that point will have invested so much money into this that either they're not going to want to buy this and they'll keep on with this and say, I'm just not going to eat soup. Problem solved. When the whole purpose of this is to eat things like soup. Or they'll quit, say, screw it. This is a problem and a danger. Other times you have folks who are like, yeah, I know this is a spoon. This is not a spoon. I know it. Because I'm selling this. I know I should be selling this. But this takes investment to fill in that hole. I don't want to make investment. I want to make money. So I'm going to sell this. I can save money on materials, make more money. People won't know the difference. And people won't criticize because folks will call them negative. Other people say, yeah, I know that this is missing something, so let me add this. I know a little bit of some other dances. I'm not really mastered any of it, but I know how to do it. So let me combine, try to make something new. What this isn't an evolution or anything like that. This is just a hot-ass mess. It's a mutation. But if you take the work, put in the work to build a solid foundation, and then you add things, you combine those two, and what you have is an evolution. In this case, a spork. I know it's probably not the most flashy or cool looking evolution, but it's an evolution. Everything a spoon can do, this can do. This also has some functions of a fork. This is an evolution. But most people aren't willing to put in the work to get this first. And in the US, this is a problem. There are a lot of people trying to sell this and calling it an evolution, when there's really no one in this country right now who has mastered the fundamentals enough to create a new style. Now, there are some new styles that have been created by others, and they're fun to dance, and there's nothing wrong with it. But the people who created those new styles have this, and that includes nobody in the US. People who took some years to learn this, and then they added something and created this. This is what we call a new style, as opposed to mutations. So tell me, which would you rather spend your money on? And answer another question. If I'm selling this to people, it's not illegal, but is it right? What about if I call it a modern spoon, or a nouveau spoon, or an evolution of spoon? Does that make it okay? What if I, add whatever I want, call it a fusion? Is that right? To me, no. Because you can't really fuse something you don't know. This is not a fusion. This is just another hot mess. A lot of people say that folks who are critical of others are negative. But what I say to that is, who's really in the wrong? People who are selling this? Or the people who are calling them out? And honestly, many of the people who are upset about the people who are calling this out are people who are either buddies, lovers, minions, or what have you, of people who are engaging in this behavior. This is a problem for our scene. You can't build a scene on this. You have to start with this. Build the foundation. Then you can add things to it as much as you want. But if you can't eat soup, don't worry about this. And stay the heck away from this. Focus on this. If you are a teacher, spend your money on this. Because if you're only worried about making money, you're not going to want to invest in this. And there are too many teachers in our country and around the world who don't want to do this. Instead, they do this and then just avoid soup. And people are spending the same money on this as they do on this. And they don't know any better. It's wrong to take advantage of people that way. And those who are speaking out about it, you may get some pushback, but I encourage you to continue doing so. Because for a community to really grow and thrive for years and years, there needs to be some type of quality control. And it has to be the people who are actually adding quality to the community who have to speak up about these things. For evolution to take place, you need this. Then you can add this. This, you cannot build evolution on this because this is a mutation. My people, please stop supporting people who are selling this. For all of you who support people who do this because you're their friends, because you're romantically involved, because you're minions, because they've done you a solid in the past, you're enabling this. And indirectly, you are contributing to this problem. You're a part of the problem. Promoters, this is not what you want at your events. Sometimes this is going to be easier to sell to people because what people add to, mask their lack of foundation is flashy. Lots of moves and tricks and new stuff like that. It makes people feel good when you can 1, 2, 3, 4 and get them to do new moves. But they're not learning to dance. A community needs dancers, not 1, 2, 3, 4. Not a bunch of moves that can't be replicated on the social dance floor. The community needs foundation, needs soup. Okay? Thank you for listening. And let's eat more soup. Because when people are in the know, which would you spend your money on? I know what I'd spend my money on. But ultimately, the choice is yours. Talk to you guys soon.